Founders are burning out quietly under the weight of success, pressure, and the relentless demand to be not only the dreamer, the fundraiser, but also the doer. In this episode, we're pulling back on what happens when burnout hits at the very top. Up here.
Welcome to VI Live, a podcast for bold and brave founders and entrepreneurs where we get into the messy middle. Here are your hosts, Lori and Ashley.
All right, we are back. We're
back.
Did you miss us? Because we missed you.
Today we're talking about something that's affecting way too many founders behind the scenes, or like Lori said, maybe not so far behind the scenes and behind the curtain. But that topic is burnout.
Burnout. Oh, we have all felt it. And actually, I would say I'm actually on the going through it right now. Not the kind where you collapse and quit. The kind where you're still performing, you're still scaling, but perhaps you're a little dead inside.
Yes.
Sorry.
Completely dead inside. Actually, it makes me think of this shirt. So Halloween season is upon us, and I didn't buy it. I should have, knowing that we were going into this pod. It would have been perfect for today, but it was two skeletons, and it was like completely dead. Like that's literally what it said. It just said completely dead, and it was great.
I love it. Sounds like
I have to go back now.
Completely dead inside. So Ashley, what does burnout look like for you?
So, a burnout at the top, which is what we're looking at here. You're hitting the numbers, the business is growing. From the outside, it looks like you're winning, but, Lori?
But inside, you are dead. No, I'm just teasing. Inside, you are tired, you are numb, you're starting to wonder if this is working. Perhaps your intuition or your passion or your, how would you say, unrelenting belief starts to quietly fade. And so that's what it looks like for me. But, when you take a step back, and obviously we'll walk through the pressures and how we, stay on top or do preventative burnout protection. Burnout, it doesn't always look like failure. Sometimes it is growth in disguise.
Sometimes founders feel like they have to hold everything. Team morale, sales momentum, investor updates, strategy. So that's the pressure of founders, leaders in the world of business, ownership, leadership, especially those that are running the business, owning the business, in the business, working on the business, both sides of the business. So we hear that phrase a lot. Are you working in the business? Are you working on the business? What side? How much percentage of your time is here? How much percentage of your time is there? So really looking at the pressures to perform in the role that you're in, and how many seats are you sitting in?
Oh, I mean, all of that tracks, right? And if I think about it, it's like, you have to be a constant cheerleader when, behind the scenes, there's some pretty significant issues, or there's some pretty significant backlogs. So it's like, you kind of have this like persona that you have to keep it all together, but perhaps the best top 5% or the worst 5%, you really don't have a lot of people you can talk to or work through or help you get back on track. And that's where it breaks, because you're performing a role, but you're not necessarily living kind of all of the elements of that role. So when you feel like you can't be honest, you're already out of alignment. And especially with founder teams, like I think the one thing you and I have done that has just been a game changer is we check in every week. Like, how are you feeling?
Yeah, and another big piece of it for us is that we are a founder team. We're no longer solo. I mean, I think both of us had hit a wall in our solo entities, and we're definitely at this point and decided, okay, if we become a team, then we're at least going through this together, and you do have somebody versus the no one. situation. So it changes the game.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, because it does take a while to find the right partnership. I think we've talked about that a little bit on some of our past pods. And what I like is, I think we've become a part of the entrepreneur organization, or the global EO. What I like is that we have kind of mastermind check-in groups too, not only just like inside WIM, but outside, where on a scale of 1 to 5, where are you with business, family, health, your relationships, your mentorships, your all of those pieces. So you look at yourself as a whole person, rather just someone who is work. Because if any of those pillars kind of drop down, it has an impact on everything. So I think having that partnership, or at least having a mentorship plan, if you are a solopreneur, really will help you kind of get, see and work through any moments where you're out of alignment.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Totally agree with that. So, how does burnout happen? How does it look? It doesn't necessarily come all in one big crash. It comes in a slow fade. Less energy, less creativity, less connection to the core value, the mission, the purpose. And then all of a sudden you're like, where am I?
And I mean, we've both felt it. You start resenting the business, you start fantasizing about walking away. Not because it's failing, but because perhaps you've just lost that connection to the mission. Burnout is a drift. That's the slow fade. Not a blowout, which my mind goes to like hair, but blowout meaning blowout of the tires. You want to catch it early.
So if we catch it early, we start protecting recovery like a core business function. So clarity breaks, delegation, systems that reduce founder dependence. And this is critical. So how do we get back in alignment? How do we get back on track? How do we get these things to the level that we need them to be to get the momentum, get the inspiration, and all of the pieces that we need to get the business on track, as well as our visionary and integrator and our leadership roles on track.
Mm-hmm. And I think what we also do is have, as we kind of shared these weekly check-ins, you and I, but we're kind of honest about our energy. As soon as there's a lack of confidence or a lack of connection or other things going on, we just call it right away and take care of, take care of what needs to be taken care of. But we're honest about our energy, what gives it, what drains it, and that's when things start to feel a little lighter again. And I like this. I'll tell you a little story that one of the he's an older gentleman. He's been an entrepreneur for a very, very long time. And he always said, as soon as you start to feel either drained, or let's just say perhaps you're working through some very, very stressful, challenging things that weren't expected, or you're dealing with perhaps revenue gaps or changes or concepts or pivots not working, what he always said is that you've got to kind of double down on taking care of your health. So he's like, double the stress, double the workouts. I try to make sure I get a massage in as many times as possible, and other things to make sure you're working out the cortisol, and get in the gym and take care of things there. But the takeaway for all this is that real recovery, it isn't just time off. It's designing kind of your business and your personal life in a way that doesn't break you, and communicating when you need some help, or communicating when, your energy levels are at the bottom of the barrel. And that's what partnerships and teams and, companies help take care of.
Yep. So how do you move forward? If you're there, if you're in the fog, you're not alone, you're not weak, you're just tired. And that is the truth of the matter, and it does feel like a fog. And so you've got to take care of yourself, and you're the only one that can do that for you. So that is the critical piece to moving forward.
And I said, but you're also the leader, which means you get to rewrite or write the playbook. So like what we did, we start small, you start now, and you just don't stay stuck, you just start communicating. So one of the things we'll leave with those of you who are watching is, what's the one thing you're holding right now that's costing you your energy? How could you let it go? Who could you delegate to? How could you reprioritize? So drop us a comment and let us know how you manage burnout. And as always, you can find and connect with us on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube at We Are WIM, and discover resources and episodes at www.wearewim.com. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.